This is Chris Drosbaugh in the Visual Resources Center at Vanderbilt University. Today in our tech training, we are going to learn about a specific feature inside of Oak, also known as Blackboard, and that feature is the Grade Center. Now, the Grade Center is a very powerful tool that allows a faculty member to be able to create weighted grade cycles for their course so that they can have the final exam automatically factor in at something like 55% and all the other ones to fill up below that. Or it could also be a way to be really creative if you have extra credit, to be able to create different columns to be able to handle the extra credit. So what we want to do is, I've already started out in the course that I want to build a weighted system for, and that is our digital photography class. Currently, all I have, if we go into Grade Center, you will see there's a needs grading and a full Grade Center. We're going to go into the full Grade Center. I only have one student enrolled into this class, John Doe. However, you see that I have a number of different existing columns that I have already done. Now, before we jump into how to create a weighted grade center, we need to talk first about what these different columns and calculated columns actually are and what they mean to you. Now, a column is a specific test or a specific assignment. It's something that you are going to be using later to create a weighted score. So for instance, for every exam, every assignment that you are planning on, every extra credit, anything that is going to have a point, you want to create at the very beginning your own column for that. Now, I've already gone through and created columns for everything except for, I think I have one exam that is not listed. So I'm going to show you how to create a column. So I'm going to go in and create a column. And we're just going to call this Exam 1. Now, when you are going down through, you have the ability to change things to score or percentage. I'm going to call it a percentage as the primary display. And you also have the ability to categorize. Now, in the categories, we are going to say that this is actually a test. It's not going to be very important for this category, but I will show you later how it could be very useful for things like assignments. Points possible, since we're doing a percentage, I'm just going to type in 100. And while you do not have to put dates, due dates, if you know what they are going to be, are very handy because it allows you, for instance, in the needs grading, it will allow you to easily jump into the specific thing you need to enter points for. It'll also be really good for sorting the columns. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this one is due, let's say September 24th, for instance. And then the options down here is I always like to make columns available for calculations. That is very important. Now, a lot of faculty members do like to use the Grade Center as a way for a student to see what points they have already accrued throughout the semester. However, if you do not want to see your students to see any of the various points or scores, you can go ahead and click this as no. I'm going to go ahead and click this as yes. And then you click Submit. After we select the proper time, I'm just going to say end of day. Submit. And all of a sudden we will have a new, if we go over, we will see an exam 1 at the tail end. Let's go ahead and start talking about the next type of column, which is a weighted column. I have already created a weighted column in this list right here that I've called a weighted total. What you use a weighted total for, if you click the little chevron and go up into Edit Column Information, you will see that this is a little bit more powerful than just a regular column. Instead of just having a score for itself, which you see the primary display and the secondary display, you also see all the columns that you have created and you have the ability to move them over and to create 100% out of the various different scores. So let me show you. For instance, let's say classroom participation is going to be worth 10% of the score. Let's say assignments. Now I'm going to go ahead and select a category assignments, and I will show you in a little bit how this is going to assist very easily. We are going to say that it is going to be worth 5%, and we're going to just go ahead and make it that they are equally distributed. The next thing is a quiz, and that is only going to be worth 5%. Then we are going to pull over exam 1 that we just created, and exam 1 is going to be worth 15. The midterm is going to be worth 35. Well, let's say that it's worth 25. And then let's say the final exam is worth a large 50%. Now, one thing you might have actually seen down here is that it has been keeping track of how much total the different percentages equal to. You want to have it equal up to 100%. However, if I click this 50, it's going to say that it went over. So I'm just going to click cancel, and I need 40%, which equals a total weight. So now all of these different columns, all these different scores have added up to create 100%. So the weighted total, and I'm going to actually change this by due date, so the weighted total will appear at the end, would accurately reflect the score. So if I start going through and creating, let's say 95, and we're going to say this is 97. Okay, and then this was a not as good a score, an 85. Okay, and this is going to be a 92. So I don't have all the scores in, but you will see in the weighted total that it has already taken the scores that have existed and moved them in. Now, as the semester approaches and you're going through the different weeks, you decide that you need to have one more assignment. So what we actually want to do is create an additional column for an assignment 3. In the assignment 3, we are going to say that it is percentage, it's based on 100, but it's important now to do the assignment. The reason we're doing the category of assignment is so that it'll actually pop in to factor inside that group of assignments that will take up no more than the 5% of the total score. So it will automatically do the math for you so that you don't have to adjust.